Welcome back to the Wizard Shop. I went and done something really crazy. We're going to take a look at this huge boat right after this. So many of you have watched Hoovie's Garage, and you've seen an episode where we took his Murcielago and several other really cool cars that he owns down to a lake in Oklahoma. And supposedly we rode around on my yacht. Unfortunately, that was not my yacht. That is Hoovie's from Hoovie's Garage. And if you remember back from this video, this time around we're not really headed anywhere fantastic on vacation. We're just doing a weekend getaway. We're actually headed to Hoovie's lake house. His family has a lake house, and he just got a Cobalt 343. You'll know exactly what we're talking about. However, this one is truly mine. Actually, it's mine and Mrs. Wizard's. You like the big boat, Mrs. Wizard?
You just keep saying that. You bought it.
Yeah. This is a 1989 Carver Santego 27-foot yacht. We're going to take a look at it today. I bought it with a blown engine. I'm pulling a Hoovie here. I bought it as a hoopty. It's a hoopty boat right now. I paid $6,000 for this boat. If it were in perfect shape, it's probably worth about $20,000. But we're going to go through and fix a lot of things on this. It's going to be a series of videos, maybe one a month, not a whole lot. I know some of you guys aren't into boats, so we're not going to flood you with boat videos. But probably one a month, we'll do a video on this, updates. We're going to fix the engine, we're going to go through the wiring, go through the whole boat. But we just barely fit it into the shop. I paid Crazy D's family, his mom and dad, to go pick this up for me, all the way up in Topeka, near Topeka, Kansas, and they drove it all the way home. They said they got all kinds of crazy looks. What the heck is this thing doing in Kansas in the middle of cornfields and wheat fields? It's kind of a weird thing to see in Kansas. But it was on a lake, in Perry Lake, here in Kansas. It will be going to Oklahoma, where Tyler, Hoovie's Garage, has his yacht, so we can race around the lake together. But there's a lot of work to do to this one. Let's take a look. This is not our first boat restoration. Mrs. Wizard and I fixed up a little Mark Twain. I think it was a 16-foot boat. It was on death's door, and we brought it back and made it lake-worthy, I guess you would call it. Not seaworthy. It wouldn't be seaworthy. So this is the same thing we went through, but on a much larger scale. It's basically like an RV motorhome that floats.
Which we also have restored.
Yeah. Which we also have restored. We've restored a couple of RVs. They were pretty fun little husband-wife projects, and they went pretty well. I think this one will too. You'll have to pardon the mess. I believe wherever this yacht was parked, it rained, and there was no cover on the back, and it filled the bilge about that deep full of water. We pulled the plug, and I was thinking it'd be a little bit of water come out, and overnight, it's like a lake. It's like its own little miniature lake down here. So that's what that is rainwater. The boat doesn't leak. It does from the top, but not from the bottom. Let's take a look around this thing, talk about it, and then we'll take a look at the interior and then the engines. As you can see, the whole of the boat, the paint is all worn off down to the fiberglass. This is anti-fouling paint, and as you take the boat around the lake, it slowly peels layers off. It's supposed to do that. It's called ablative paint. And it keeps organisms like algae or any kinds of shells or growth or anything from growing to the side of the boat. This one was not maintained, and over the years it finally just rubbed all the paint off. The water did. It's down to fiberglass. We will sand it and put new anti-fouling paint on it, and there'll be no trouble to do that. This here just needs to be polished. You can see if we were to polish it, it would come clean. It's just oxidized is all that is. Polish up the gel coat, clean it all up. There's all kinds of cleaning and cleaning. That's going to be the first order of business on this boat. The person that had this before me thought that they were going to turn it into a little project, and they took it out on the lake and the motor blew on them. One of the two motors. We'll see those here in a little bit. And at that point, the guy realized, I'm in way over my head. I can't fix the motor. I don't know how to. And the cost to fix it is going to be so high. He just stopped. He said, I'm done. He called it quits. He threw up the white flag. And here it is in my shop now. I bought it from him. Let's take a look around. Looks like Babu and Nanny used to own this boat many, many years ago. This would have probably been the original owners. As you can see, it says 27 here. It's a 27-foot yacht. They have many different versions. They have 28 foots, they have 30 foots, 34s, 38s, 42s. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And as we come around to here, there's two things I'll show you. One is, looks like somebody backed into a dock. A slip, I guess you'd call it. And two, we can see where this originally came from when it was brand new in 1989. City Island Yacht Sales, City Island, New York, which is basically the Bronx. So this boat came all the way from probably the Hudson Bay area, New York. And you could see that it used to say, Pause Retreat. I don't know what I'm going to name it now. We're going to have to buff and polish that out and make it clean so it's all white. Maybe you guys in the comments can give some ideas of names. What could we name this big, huge behemoth of a boat? Both of the props are bad. One is exceptionally bad. That one probably could be used, but it's chewed up a little bit. This one, however, they must have hit a log or who knows what. It's just destroyed. And what you see here that looks like rust or it looks like it's corroded, it's actually shiny black under there, but this is algae. Again, I'll show you. If I start cleaning it, it comes off. So it's coated in a really thick layer of algae. We're going to get those props off of there and replace them with brand new ones, service the out drives, clean this all up. This is going to be a winter project. It's going to take a long time. This boat won't be in the water till springtime when I take it to Grand Lake in Oklahoma. So we've got quite a bit of time through the winter to just front to back, or as they would say, forward and aft, port and starboard, everything is going to be gone through and fixed up. Mrs. Wizard really likes to do remodeling or do interior decorating, and this is a perfect example for her to set the interior of this boat exactly the way that she wants it. I get to do the engines, electrical, and everything else. Here we can see again that the anti-fouling paint has worn almost all the way down to the fiberglass, and in some places it has gone to the fiberglass. Luckily there's no giant holes in the hull. The guy was using it, was sitting in a slip before he sold it. Once the motor blew, he pulled it out of the water. It came with this 3-axle trailer. The trailer alone is probably $2,000 or more. And the boat was, it's almost like he sold it as like, I want it gone price. Just get it out of my hair. And I was happy to get it out of his hair. You can see a seal here is missing on the window. There's probably going to have to be a lot of sealing done on here. Here we are at the front of the boat. You can see that it says Santego Mid Cabin. That's the model of boats. And you can see that it was in Oklahoma at some point, probably where the guy bought it before me and brought it to Kansas. I'm not sure what the story is there. So this boat has a 10-foot beam, which is really pretty wide for a 27-foot boat. Hoovie's yacht, I don't know if it's 8 foot or 10 foot or 9, somewhere around in there. But his definitely isn't as tall. But his isn't meant to live on. His is meant to cruise around the lake at a really high rate of speed and just enjoy fast yachting. This is not a fast yachter. It might do 30 miles or 30 knots, I guess you could say, top speed. Probably going to cruise around 18 to 20 knots. And that's what me and Mrs. Wizard thought, that'd be a great speed. We're not racers. We're not into racing. We're into enjoying the view. So that's what this boat is all about, pleasure cruising. Here we have the cockpit. It's fairly clean and in decent shape. Some of the seats, as you see right here in front of you, are pretty much destroyed from sun. The slip that I will choose when I finally am done with this boat will have a roof over the slip. Wherever this was parked did not have one. Luckily, I've mentioned in the past I use Lowen Upholstery here in Newton for a lot of my upholstery jobs. They will be more than happy to take care of this for me and redo these. Here's little teak steps so you can walk around to the bow of the boat. Some cup holders for your favorite beverage. Let's take a look at the helm. So here we are at the helm. It's as if it was stuck in 1992 or something. It's got old electronics on it. I don't even know if they work. But that stuff's going to be coming off and being replaced with a more modern setup. Here's a carbon monoxide alarm. There's a radio down there. an old fish finder. It looks like the screen is all, the LCD is ruined. There's tons of switches on here. You can barely read what they do, but I can still see it. Panel lights, anchor lights, battery 1, 2. Has a halon system. Fireboy halon fire system. That's cool. There's the throttle. I have yet to learn a lot of stuff, guys. There's so many things on here that I actually have to get the manual and see what they do. But anyways, this is the helm. This is where you pilot or drive the boat. There is no other place to do so. Some boats will have an upper helm and a lower auxiliary helm. This one just has the flybridge as the helm. So I think when the prior owner of this boat hit the big snag that this motor blew, I think they just threw in the towel. They didn't even clean the trash out of the boat. They were just like, I am 100% done with this boat. Okay, and the next step is to take a look at the interior, which amazingly is not as bad as I thought it would be. It's actually pretty decent. Let's take a look inside. It's kind of dark in here. I apologize, guys. We don't have the power hooked up yet. But as you can see, they left behind water bottles, like 3 or 4 of them in here, a koozie. There's some valve cover gaskets.
Don't you want to drink there, Car Wizard?
Not one of those. I don't know how long they've been there or where they've been. That definitely is not going to be drank by me. Here's some goldfish if you guys are hungry. There's a few left in there. And it has overhead storage bins. Looks like some more junk in there. Some drink mixes. Some sort of a bottle. Like a coolant bottle? Maybe that goes to the engine, I don't know. Pop Mix CD. Oh wow. A Leatherman tool. Gerber, actually. That's pretty neat. Some electrical tape. Electrical box. That's about it in there. It's almost like an airline, like the overhead storage bins. It's kind of like that idea. They close really hard, so they stay closed. Some wood flooring. A fish soap holder. It's got sliding storage here in front of the stove. There's an air horn. Kansas City auto auction. Huh, it's a clock. Weird. Marine first aid kit, some soap. There's going to be a lot of cleaning in here before we do anything. Here's an interesting stove. This upper portion is electric. You use 110 volts and it heats up like an electric stove. Or you can flip it up and use alcohol. You pump it up, you light it, and use a stove that way. I don't think I will use the flame part of this. It's old and I don't know if I want to trust it. Probably just use the electric portion of it. Or a microwave. We might just use a microwave. The ceiling's a little bit dirty, but it's in good shape. It's got like a polyester type carpet or something. Up there you see those pads. Those are sun pads that go on the bow. They button in. You can lay up there and suntan yourself. This is actually a bed here. Someone can sleep there. Here's a seating area. There's a tabletop that goes here. You can have dinner here, or you can put the tabletop down and sleep here. More storage. And here's the bathroom, or as they say in the boating world, the head. It's got a hand pump toilet. And a bunch of storage. So we saw on the front of the boat, it said Santego mid cabin. And this is the mid cabin right here. There's supposed to be some cushions that fold into a couch or they flatten out to a bed. Those cushions are missing. Mrs. Wizard already has ideas to make a bed that fits in here with a frame and everything. This is an area that you can sleep. It's almost like a room, a little room. It's got lights and some power plug-in, some storage, a light up top. So this would be the mid cabin. I can tell the people before me were some partiers. There's some LED strips they tried to install. I probably would have put the money towards repairs on the boat, but hey, whatever, to each their own. And here we have a circuit breaker panel for the whole boat. All kinds of fuses, circuit breakers. That's the main brain of the boat as far as electronics go. There's a valve cover in that box. This is an inverter. You can run it off of a bank of 12-volt car batteries and have 110 AC power. That's what this little unit would do here. I'm really excited to get this boat all fixed up. Mrs. Wizard and I will take this thing out on the lake. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be really, really fun. We could swim, fish, all kinds of really cool stuff. But I know some of you guys are engine guys. You want to see the engines. So we're going to do that next. We're going to open this hatch and take a look at the engines. I got the panels off. It was really hard to see down in here. It's very, very dark in the hull. But now that they're off, you can see that they're Mercruiser 3.7 liter LX. Really, really big 4 cylinders. So let's take a look at these engines. There's some things that would be very automotive in nature, and there's also things on here that you won't find on an automobile. You can see here it's a standard 12-volt alternator. I believe it's a marine version. It's still just a Delco style alternator. 10SI, I think is what they call them. Plain old ignition coil, distributor, spark plug wires, carburetors, pretty much the same as you would find on an automobile. There's a power steering pump right there that runs the out drives for steering. The differences you start to see on these engines is the exhaust manifolds are liquid cooled. The intake manifold is liquid cooled. It has a heat exchanger. It's kind of like a radiator, but instead of air going across it, it uses the lake water to cool the engines. There's a lot of cooling going on these engines to keep it from getting so hot in the hull. It would get really hot in here fast. So you got to take that heat and get it out of the hull. There's the 2 batteries. There's a charger. Here's the reservoir, coolant reservoir. The other one we found that was missing is supposed to go over there. But what's wrong with this engine, I don't know yet. I have yet to get it started and see does it even run? Does it have a blown head gasket? I don't know that yet, but we will be finding out. Supposedly the starboard side engine runs fine, no troubles with it at all. So for you guys that are into engines, whatever we find out wrong with this, we'll be pulling this apart and fixing it. So I mentioned these engines are 3.7 liters. They're really, really big. In comparison, a Toyota truck, some of them had 2.7 liter 4 cylinders. Those are considered really big 4 cylinders, but these are even bigger yet. 3.7 liters, a whole liter bigger. Actually, these engines are, as I understand it to be, a Ford big block, like a 429. They cut it in half and made 2 4 cylinders out of it. Each cylinder head is a Ford big block cylinder head with a Ford big block valve cover. But interesting enough, most inboard engines in boats and yachts have a Chevy bolt pattern on the bell housing and mounting points. So it's kind of a weird engine. The basis of the engine is kind of Ford, I guess you would call it, but the bell housing is Chevy. These engines are actually really popular. People actually take these exact engines and do engine swaps into little cars, like little roadsters or whatnot, and make really low torque at low RPM. They're such a big engine. Even though it's a 4 cylinder, you think, oh, that's tiny. But they're not tiny. They're actually very, very big. Lots of torque. They're 170 horsepower each. So that comes out to be 340 horsepower with the combined, both of them running at full power. So I definitely got my work cut out for me in here, and Mrs. Wizard has her work cut out for her in there. And like I said, we'll do probably 1 video a month and show you guys the progress up to the point where we take it to the lake and we get to actually enjoy it. That's going to be the goal, the really exciting goal, is to go take it on the lake and go fishing and go swimming, take kids out. It's going to be really, really fun. Well, thanks you guys for following along. Once we pulled this huge boat in here, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do a video on this. You guys need to see this. It's huge. Everybody that's seen it is like, man, that thing's huge. It's bigger than they thought it would be. They knew it was going to be big, but when it showed up, they're like, it's half again bigger than what I thought it would be. We're going to be using a lot of tools to fix these engines, or at least the one that's blown. And those kind of tools you could find in my Amazon affiliates link in the description below. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button already, go ahead and do that now. We got many more cool car projects, and now we have a yacht project in the works. You guys want to keep up with that. Thanks for watching.